Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you are new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for my continued followers, I want to say thank you. And I have a very, very sad commentary. It's very alarming video that I'm going to do, but I think it's very important for our awareness and that there are some really cruel and demonic folks out here, and there's a lot of trouble that is taking place within many of our homes in America. It can be dangerous out in the cities and communities outside, but in many homes in America on the inside, it can be just as crazy, dangerous, and unhealthy. So this is about a 14-year-old boy out of Wisconsin who was accused of killing his cousin, Lily Peters. She was 10, in Northwestern Wisconsin. He lured her off a trail by suggesting they explore surrounding woods before he sexually assaulted her and then murdered her. The boy's name is Carson Peters Berger. Was charged in adult court with first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree sexual assault, and first-degree sexual assault of a child under the age of 13. And I know for those who are listening, it sounds highly disturbing, but I think it's important to paint a narrative about this and to talk about it. And how did this young man get to this place and even kill his own cousin? So he was charged with first-degree intentional homicide, first-degree sexual assault, and first-degree sexual assault of a child under the age of 13 in the death of Lily Peters, 10, whose disappearance triggered a large manhunt in the town of Chippewa Falls, Wisconsin. The criminal complaint revealed that Carson Peters Berger returned to the scene of the crime to better hide the girl's body by covering her with leaves. So he went back. Now, don't forget, he was 13 at the time. According to the complaint, Lily was reported missing on the evening of April 24th after she failed to return home from visiting her aunt's house in Chippewa Falls. Searchers found her body the next morning. Carson Peters Berger told the detectives that he was riding his hoverboard alongside Lily on a trail and that he intended to assault and kill her. He planned it out. Carson Peters Berger remains in custody on a $1 million bail. He's considered an adult in criminal court in the criminal justice system. The 14-year-old boy charged with the sexual assault and murder of Lily Peters is the son of a convicted pedophile. So Carson's father is a convicted pedophile. His dad, Adam Berger, 37, spent 3 years in jail after being caught with a stash of pornographic images of underage girls on his phone. The boy Carson is now facing a possible life sentence after being charged with 3 counts over Lily's death, his cousin. Carson punched her in the stomach, hit her with a stick, assaulted her, and then strangled her. He is now incarcerated at the Northwest Regional Juvenile Center in Wisconsin and due in court next week. This is why I decided to do this video on this case. Carson's father, Adam Berger, is currently living in a halfway house after being released from Oshkosh Correctional Facility on April 2021. Mr. Adam Berger remains on supervised probation and is on the sex offender registry. It has been described that Carson was not a happy kid when his dad got sent to prison. He was an unhappy child who never smiled and looked miserable in the company of his mother. Lily's mother, the little girl that got murdered, her family had some difficult times also. So Lily's mother, 38, is currently on probation after being convicted of multiple counts of theft, including swiping four of her mother's credit cards and racking up a bill of $7,785.31. So Lily's mother and Lily's family dynamics was jaded and in a negative space. And Lily was a byproduct so her home, she was a byproduct of a broken home, and then she lived with her father Alex. So Lily's mother got in trouble for stealing, and then she lived with her father Alex, who had a string of convictions for drug and alcohol offenses, including several DUIs. He had a string of convictions for drug and alcohol offenses, including several DUIs. So both Lily's mother and father had their problems and travails. Furthermore, Carson's mother, the young man that did this to his cousin, his mother had multiple convictions for drug offenses, all dating back from at least 2 years before Carson was born, and she was also arrested for domestic battery following an altercation with her then husband, John Davis, dating back to 2005. So, as you can tell, there was tons of volcanic negative energy that was taking place both in Lily's home and in Carson's home. And I don't know what Carson had seen growing up as a kid, or had been around, or how much supervision there was for him. But Carson Petersberger, at the time he was 13, committed this heinous crime against his own cousin, his own flesh and blood. And as I've said in many of my other videos, we're reaching a point now where one human looks at another human being and we don't even see them as human. We're losing our humanity each and every day. Our moral and ethical compass is going straight into the toilet, and the demonic forces that are taking place. And you're hearing more and more stories of family members committing heinous crimes to each other. You had two incidences in Chicago, one in Joliet, where a young man killed 9 of his family members, and then took off to Houston and Texas and committed suicide. You had another situation where an Arab man ended up killing his wife and his twin daughters and another daughter. So he killed his wife and 3 daughters. That was in Tinley Park, in a south suburb of Chicago. And now you have this scenario where a 13-year-old boy, he's 14 now, assaulted and murdered and strangled his 10-year-old cousin. What happened to the familial bond? What was going on in the dynamics of those households that ended up being more dangerous than what happens outside of the house, in the cities and surrounding areas? It seems as if there can be just as much, if not more, dangerous scenarios that are taking place within many of these homes than are taking place outside of them. And we don't get to ask God what family we get to choose to be a part of. And I always say love is an action and a verb. So what a person shows you and exudes to you in the love line is what you give back to them. So just because they're your uncle, they're your aunt, your father, your brother, your sister, if they are in a negative space, then I would say get away from them. You don't have to love them just because you're related to them. And there are way too many issues that are taking place where family members are killing and destroying each other as if they are strangers. So this is a very sad case. This kid is going to be charged as an adult and could possibly end up with life in prison forever. Both families need all kinds of therapy. This young man needs therapy. What has taken place has been terrible and hideous, and we have to pray to make this world a better place. This is the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth.